Hello there, thank you for stopping by. Today, we are running a comparison looking for the best all-around 2011. You go out, you buy a 2011, you want to get the comped one because that's all the rage right now. It shoots really great on the range, and then you realize you show up for your first competition and you're pushed into open and all the guys have a $10,000 race gun and you're at a disadvantage, and then you got to realize, oh man, I should have, if I was going to go into open, I should have been running major power factor, and there's all kinds of issues there, right? So these three guns that we're going to compare head-to-head here have some flexibility built into them. So they can be a limited optics gun by deleting the comp, or you can run them in open and have a really nice flat shooting gun on the range. We're going to see of these three guns, which one's the best do-it-all 2011. All right. That sound fun?
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's do it. Shooter, make ready. Are you ready? Stand by. Scoring methodology really quickly here. We're going to give 30% to reliability for obvious reasons. 30% to our shooting test. We're running Fluffy's Revenge 2. It's a USPSA classifier. We are starting from low ready, so the rankings on this or the scores on this are going to be pretty high. Not coming out of the holster. 30% is going to be given to accuracy. And again, guys, this is just accuracy in the hand of the shooter. Mechanically, we didn't notice really any kind of measurable difference between these guns. This accuracy test is about real world shooting for accuracy among 4 different skilled shooters. And it should give us a pretty good ranking about how those guns perform. And then 10%, I called it comfort here. It's ergonomics. Each of the shooters independently ranked the guns as preference and feel in the hand. And we'll go through those preferences at the end of the video.
They had to find something to do with all those 320 mags they had in the bag.
Yeah. All right, SIG P211. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so this target has 5 1-inch circles across the top, and then 2 3-inch circles that we shoot 5-round groups into. And if you'd like it, there's a free download at makereadyshooting.com.
Hey, SIG P211.
Got the Kimber.
Good shooting, buddy. This is Mark shooting the SIG.
There it is.
Next up is the Romulus. Worth pointing out, Romulus has an MPA grip. So that bumps it into the same realm and pricing category that the other two guns are in. So.
What happened? Wah, wah. We're professionals here, people.
Shut up. All right, here we go. I was like, that didn't feel like a round went in.
Very nice. Yeah.
It's nice to find a gun that's got some flexibility in it. And so the idea behind these three guns is the SIG has a comp delete, like a barrel block that you can replace the comp with.
That's smart.
Romulus, same thing. The company out there making a comp delete for it, which is cool. And then the Kimber, Jarvis Inc. makes a barrel that you can drop right in. So I'm curious what the zero shift is going to be.
Yeah, that could change accuracy for sure.
So we continued with the accuracy test with the non-comped versions of the guns. There was consistency across all the platforms. There was nothing crazy. I don't have footage of the entire accuracy thing here, and honestly, I think it would probably bore you, but our cameras got hot. I did have some good footage here of the Kimber and the Alpha Foxtrot at this angle, which I thought was pretty cool, so I figured I'd at least share it. I don't have the SIG at this angle. Again, the camera just overheated on us, and I wasn't able to get that good footage. And as you'll see here, we were struggling a little bit with the spring on the Kimber because it's a lighter spring that I have for competition, and that new barrel it needs a little love to get a little heavier spring in there, and that'll help. Here's the Alpha Foxtrot. Both guns shooting non-comped, very comfortable. You can see they settle back to 0 really quickly. Really fun guns to shoot, both of them. The SIG is actually a little bit flatter than each of these, but we're kind of splitting hairs. These are all 3 great guns.
Nice. That's close to as clean a target as we've had.
Here are the accuracy results. I shot the GTO with the delete the best, then the Romulus with the delete, which kind of surprising results for me, and then the GTO, and it kind of goes down from there. Had a decent accuracy day. None of them were like massively wide groups. It's just how the ranking laid out. Hunter shot both versions of the SIG the best, followed by the Romulus, even though, as you'll see later, the SIG was not his favorite gun in the hand. He shot it extremely well. Buck shot the Kimber Comp the best, followed by the Romulus with the delete, and then the SIG GTO. Mark shot that Kimber Comp really well, followed by the SIG GTO, and then the Romulus Comp. And when you average out the shooters, where the guns ranked for them from an accuracy standpoint, the SIG GTO takes the win. It ranked average of number 2.3 on the list. The Kimber Comp averages 3 and is in a statistical tie there for the Romulus with the Comp delete. Here we are at the hit factor test. This is Fluffy's Revenge 2. This is a USPSA classifier. There's no movement here. We're trying to take as much of the human factor out of it as we can and focus on the gun. It's return to 0. How fast can you transition between targets? This is a good drill for that.
Okay, this is the SIG P211.
Shooter ready.
Yes.
Stand by.
All right. Alpha Foxtrot Romulus. Shooting the Fluffy.
Stand by. .87.
Here's Mark on the
Feels
Kimber.
more like home? Yep. Okay. All right. Shooter ready. Stand by. All right. 3.02. I asked for a 3.01, so thank you. All right, Danny, should we shoot the SIG?
Okay.
We should. Let's shoot it.
All right, this is your
Make
gun
ready.
for your giant bear paws. My delicate little hands. This seems like a lot.
I guess we'll put
All right.
on mine too.
Are you ready?
Okay,
Yep.
Stand by. All right, we're ready to go with the non-comped versions of these guns.
Hey, we
Back
can
to
go in
Fluffy's
whatever
Revenge. Here
order,
we
'cause
are.
we're waiting to be done with this. It doesn't really matter.
Sorry to interrupt the video for a moment. Just need to give you a quick explanation. You're going to see me re-zero the Kimber. The Kimber's optic came loose. That's on me. I didn't put enough Loctite in it. It's a Danny issue, not a gun issue. But we end up struggling a little bit the rest of the day with the Kimber. There's not a ton of footage of that, but we explain it at the end because what we were trying to determine is it the optic that coming loose that's causing a zero shift, or was it the new barrel that's required? And we answer that question at the end of the video, but there's the context.
Yeah, you're getting it.
Those
Definitely
two are
on
on
it.
top. You had one low and
Yeah.
two in the middle. All right.
Okay.
Shoot ready. Stand by. Okay. Sub 4. It's 3.73.
Here's Hunter shooting the Kimber.
Yeah, it was 297. You're right. Nope.
All right.
Shooter, are you ready?
Yep.
Stand by.
What's that?
We may have a Charlie. So 3.54. No, I think you're in the A.
All right, shooting the SIG.
This is uncompensated.
Non-comped SIG GTO.
All right. Looks clean to me. 326.
326.
Told you it was his gun. He likes it. That's a half a second faster.
All right, we've got the Alpha Foxtrot Romulus here.
good. Shoot ready. Stand by. There you go. A little pause, but 3.73. Good time. Mid threes. Looks clean.
Yeah.
This guy can shoot. All right. This is the SIG with the comp delete. Ready? Are you good to go? Shoot ready. Stand by. There we go. 3.6. Okay.
And here's Hunter on the SIG.
Yep.
Stand by. .37 looks clean.
Danny, you're going to convince me to buy a SIG.
Those of you that are subscribed to Buck's channel, Brass Tactical, you know how hilarious he is. This was one of the funniest things of the day.
Alright,
It starts with the Alpha Foxtrot Romulus.
Nice tight pairs.
Good.
And I think we're clean. That was fast. 302. So I believe, for the record, that is the fastest clean run of the day.
Ooh,
No,
all
top right
nice.
shoulder. Or top, look.
Oh, is that new?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a C.
Did you guys see him with the pen? He had the pen.
You're not wrong. I didn't see it originally. I'm a poor range master.
No. I'm telling you, they always appear when Danny goes to check.
Danny's
Nobody sees him until Danny checks.
devious Danny. And you come out here with him every week. I don't even know why.
And that's a Delta.
Oh, it's a D.
Okay.
But it's a 302.
302. I'm going even faster. I don't even care if Danny sees my deltas.
And Buck did go faster on this next run. Here it is.
Okay.
Shoot ready.
Yep.
Stand by. Well, that's a 213, which would be a nice bill drill. You've got, I'm going to have to look. Are you clear?
Yeah, I'm clear here.
Let's drop that hammer. All right.
Yep.
So that's the fastest run of the day. Did you miss every one of them? Is that possible?
I got Charlie here. Charlie, no shoot.
Charlie hostage. Just put an H.
So after venting some frustration, Buck has one of his best runs of the day with the Kimber.
Nice run.
3.28 is kind of what in the sweet spot of balance of speed and accuracy.
Yeah.
I think that was clean.
Okay, let's go check.
And yeah, it just takes literally a second longer, and you can guarantee hits.
Hit factor results. I shot the SIG really well today, followed by the Romulus comp, and then on the hit factor, I ran that Kimber Jarvis really well. The barrel that from Jarvis Inc. is a little bit heavier. It really does shoot flat and comfortable in that Kimber. Hunter also shot the GTO very well, followed by that Kimber Jarvis. There it is again. And then the GTO. So there's his top three. Shot the SIG was 2 out of his top 3. After he did so well with it accuracy, he also performed really well with it on the hit factor results. Buck shot the GTO very well, followed by that Kimber Jarvis. And then you've got the Romulus comp, and it goes down from there. Mark shot the Kimber Jarvis very well too, followed by the GTO. And when you look at the average among all shooters, here is the hit factor score average among all the shooters. The GTO just edges out that Kimber Jarvis. That gun really does surprisingly well, staying flat and helping you to shoot fast. The GTO with the delete took 3rd place, and then the hit factor kind of declines from there. Let's talk reliability. This is an interesting lesson for us as shooters, and it's something to really take note of. The gun that was unmodified was the most reliable for the day. Shocking, right? The Kimber comp also was very reliable. We didn't have really any issues for the day at all. The Romulus comp and the Romulus delete were next, but that Kimber Jarvis, where we didn't swap the spring and we had some issues in there with it feeding, it ended up having some struggles going back into battery. It ended up being the least reliable on the day. The Romulus had magazine issues because of that aftermarket grip. So the guns that were modified did not perform quite as well. And that's going to be a lot of you are going to say, duh, obvious. That's how that works. Don't mess with your guns, dude. I get it. It's a very good point, and the statistics here kind of show that it's true.
All right, guys, fun day. We ran the guns, both accuracy and Fluffy's Revenge 2,
Yeah.
comped and non-comped. big difference between comps and non-comps on these guns?
I don't know. Like during Fluffy's Revenge, I didn't notice it as much.
Yeah.
But once we got to the accuracy, I felt like I could feel it popping more,
Because you're
especially on
taking
those.
your time and
Interesting.
Yeah, those
noticing the
1-inch
recoil.
ones.
I kind of had the opposite feeling. I think
Oh.
any of these guns, technically 6 guns because
Yep.
it was comped and non-comped,
Mhm.
every one of them from an accuracy standpoint is great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
important to point out that the Romulus is not stock. It's nowhere near stock, but it's probably about the same cost
About the same
with
cost.
the mods.
So it put it in that. And that's why we included it.
They're
It
all
put
about
it in that-
$2,500.
Yeah, between there and somewhere in that range.
And if you're not going to spend $10,000 and buy all these guns to figure it out, as Danny has done, so you don't have to.
Thank you,
My
Danny.
wife might see this.
I would recommend
$200 bucks.
$300 a gun.
$200.
Get some used at the flea market. I would highly recommend take the gun out with 115s, 124s, 147s.
Absolutely.
Shoot literally one whole groups at 7 yards or 10 yards, however good you are, and see which one works the best. I just did this week with 2 comped guns, and both of them, the 124s it was like 30% more accurate.
Yeah.
So across this range of guns that we shot today, 6 different setups, 147s might have been great in one of them and not in another. So when you actually own it, spend some money on a box of ammo and find out what it likes to eat.
Yeah. And today we were shooting S&B 115s through all the guns, so it was all exactly the same ammo. But again, one gun might like a little bit different, to your point. So,
You drilled them. I think consistently you were the most accurate across the 6 guns from a consistency standpoint. And they're all eyeball accurate at 8 or 9 yards. So
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think that's a dividing factor. It's interesting you noticed it. I didn't really pay attention to the muzzle flip in accuracy because I didn't have a follow-up shot.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the most important stat, if we can do it, is to see what are the splits on the pairs
Yep.
when we shot clean.
Yeah.
Because occasionally we all decided to get ramped up and go too fast. But to me, the comp helps with splits.
Yeah.
If you're firing pairs or bill drills, you're really going to see that dot coming up and down,
Yep.
and a comp will reduce the amount of arc the dot is going to have.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. I felt like the switchover, there were some reliability questions. I was bothered by, although I shot, I think, the most accurately, I was bothered by the magazine finicky nature of the replacement lower on the Romulus.
Yep.
I thought the Kimber was a better gun than I expected. I get why it's popular.
Yeah, it's a great gun.
I've not.
I do need to, so a couple interesting things. One thing that I was hoping to really be able to hone in is swapping to the non-comp barrel. That's from Jarvis Inc. Swapping over to that barrel, I wanted to see what the shift in zero was. Unfortunately, the gun also had and I've swapped the optics around recently, and maybe I didn't do Loctite or enough to Loctite, but that optic kept coming loose on us. I've never had that issue with that gun, so it's a Danny problem, not a gun problem, I think.
And the groups were still really tight. They were just low.
Correct. But what I don't know is that zero shift because the optic got loose and I retightened it, or is it because there's a zero shift when I swap that barrel
Because we
over?
did notice it was getting loose at the end of the Fluffy, I think.
On the comped version.
Yeah,
Then we tightened it down and the zero had shifted.
Yeah.
Well, now we don't know which one it was. But I'm going to tighten that down. I'm going to shoot a few rounds, swap barrel, shoot a few rounds and see where zero shifts, and then that'll tell me whether it's the barrel or the...
Now,
I would say that confirms that there is a zero shift when I swap barrels. So this is going from the compensated version here. It says the comped 2K11. This is non-comped. Now there's a couple flyers in here that are definitely me, but look at this, at the major grouping here. It's 10 round groups. Major grouping here is about 1.5 inches higher. Let's call it 1 inch higher than the group here. This is at 8 yards. So compensated, non-compensated Jarvis barrel. So there's a tiny adjustment needs to be made. So if you're a guy like me who's going to be running that gun, you moving it over to limited optics to shoot it that way, you're going to have to re-zero swapping that out. So advantage to the SIG on this, because with the SIG, it's just that block at the end. Doesn't affect accuracy at all. You can literally out on the range, swap over and know that your zero is not going to shift. So though the Kimber shoots amazing, very accurate, fantastic gun, if you're getting it so that you can swap back and forth and trying to get crazy with it like I was, you're going to have to change your zero. It's good to know. Let's talk shooter's preference. This is that comfort, that ergonomics. Every single one of us preferred the comped version of each gun. And when we averaged out the rankings on the voting among the shooters, the GTO was number 1, the Kimber was number 2, and the Romulus was ranked number 3 for comfort in the hand with that MPA grip. Overall outcomes. The SIG GTO came out the winner, took the number 1 and the number 2 spot with that comp delete. The Kimber comp comes in third, and then the Kimber with the Jarvis barrel drops way down. It had a little bit of reliability and a lot of accuracy issues because of that zero shift, putting that new barrel in. That puts the Kimber in a statistical tie here with the Alpha Foxtrot Romulus. Guys, this isn't a massive gap. It's not like the Kimber is really any worse a gun than the GTO. If you go out and buy the Kimber, you're not making a dumb decision. Same thing with the Romulus. These guns are closer together than you would think, but there's a reason that the GTO is at the top of the list. It shoots soft, it shoots fast, and it shoots flat. It's a very comfortable gun to shoot, and it performed well universally in all 4 of our hands. It was consistently one of the top performers.
I felt like this was a fairly evenly matched. Like, I didn't think that one of them jumped out way ahead of the other one. There wasn't like this great obvious winner on the comp to non-comp. They both shot, all 3 guns shot very flat on both comp and non-comp. Nothing uncomfortable. Nothing where one was jumping out of our hand because it didn't have a comp. I think they all would be great limited optics guns if you wanted to go that way. And when you're shooting a comped gun, I mean, I don't think with any of these you could go wrong.
Nope.
Cool. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here.
Happy 4th. God bless America.
We got Buck here from Brass Tactical.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me again. Danny from Make Ready Shooting, our buddy Hunter.
From down the street.
And we will see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye.